Homophones are words that sound the same but have different meanings and spellings. Accessory, accessory, accessory. A person who helps in a crime but is not the main actor. Accessory. An additional item that complements something else, e.g., fashion accessory. Ad, ad, ad. Short for advertisement. Ad. To combine numbers or things. To include something extra. Ale, ale, ale. To suffer from illness. Ale. A type of beer. Air, air, air. The invisible mixture of gases we breathe. Also a manner or tune. Heir. A person who is legally entitled to inherit property or a title. Aisle, 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 aisle. A passage between rows of seats or shelves. Aisle. Contraction of I will. Isle. An island. All, all, all. Everything, everyone, or the whole amount. All. A small pointed tool for making holes in wood or leather. Allowed, allowed, allowed. Permitted, allowed. Spoken so that others can hear. Alms, alms, alms. Charity given to the poor. Arms. Upper limbs of the body, or weapons. Altar, altar, altar. A table or platform used in religious ceremonies. Alter. To change or modify something. Arc, arc, arc. A curved line or path. Ark. A large boat or a protective container, e.g., Noah's Ark. Aunt, aunt, aunt. Contraction of a knot. Aunt. The sister of one's parent. Ate, ate, ate. Past tense of eat. Ate. The number 8. Auger, auger, auger. A tool used for boring holes. Augur. To predict or foretell. Also an official who interpreted omens in ancient Rome. Orc, orc, orc. A type of seabird. Orc. A mythical creature, often in fantasy literature. Oral, oral, oral. Relating to the ear or hearing. Oral. Relating to the mouth or spoken communication. Away, away, away. At a distance. Not present. Away. Term used in sailing when an anchor is lifted from the sea bottom. Awe, 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 awe. A feeling of reverential wonder. Awe. A paddle used to row a boat. Or. A conjunction meaning, alternatively. Or. A mineral or rock from which metal can be extracted. Axle, axle, axle. A figure skating jump. Axle. A rod on which wheels rotate. I. Yes. An affirmative vote. I. The organ of vision. I. The first person pronoun. Bail, bail, bail. Temporary release of a prisoner. Or to remove water from a boat. Bale. A large bundle of goods, e.g., hay bale. Bait, bait, bait. Food or lure used to catch animals or fish. Bait. To lessen, reduce, or restrain, archaic, literary usage. Can also mean a falcon fluttering impatiently. Baize, baize, baize. A thick, woolen cloth often used on billiard tables. Bays. Inlets of water. also plural of bay trees or horses of a reddish-brown color. Bald, 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 lacking hair. Bald, cried or shouted loudly. Ball, 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 a round object used in games or a formal dance. Ball, to cry or shout loudly. Band, 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 a group of people or a strip of material. Band, prohibited. Bard, 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 a poet or singer, traditionally one who composes epic poems. Barred, prevented entry. Blocked. Bare, 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 naked or uncovered. Bear, a large mammal, or to carry, support, endure. Bark, 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 the sound a dog makes. Also the outer covering of a tree. Bark, a type of sailing ship. Baron, 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 a nobleman. Barren, unable to produce offspring or plants. Empty. Base, 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 the bottom or foundation. Also morally low. Bass, a type of fish, or low-pitched sound in music. Bay, 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 a body of water partially enclosed by land. Or a reddish-brown horse. Bey, a Turkish title of chieftain or lord. Bazaar, 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 a marketplace. Bazaar, strange or unusual. Bee, 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 to exist. Bee, the insect that produces honey. Beach, 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 sandy area by the sea or lake. Beech, a type of tree. Bean, 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 an edible seed. Bean, past participle of be. Beat, 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 to strike repeatedly, or a rhythm. Beet, a root vegetable. Beau, 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 a boyfriend or male admirer. Bow, a curved object. To bend forward. Or a type of knot. Beer, 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 an alcoholic drink made from fermented grains. Beer, a stand on which a coffin is placed. Bell, 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 a unit of sound intensity, logarithmic scale. Bell, a hollow object that makes a ringing sound. Belle, a beautiful woman, especially the most attractive in a group. Berry, 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 a small fruit. Berry, to place in the ground, usually after death or for hiding. Berth, 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 a sleeping place on a ship or train. A space to dock a ship. Birth, the process of being born. Bite, 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 a bend or curve in a rope or coastline. Bite, to cut into with teeth. Byte, a unit of digital information, usually 8 bits. Build, 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 issued an invoice or had a beak-like projection. Build, to construct. Bitten, 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 past participle of bite. Bitten, a type of wading bird. Also a bitter liquid from saltwater marshes. Blue, 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 past tense of blow, to move air. Blue, a color, also can describe sadness. Block, 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 a group of countries or parties united for a common purpose. Block, a solid piece of material. Also an obstruction or a section of a street. Boar, boar, boar. A wild pig. Bore. To make a hole. Or someone, something tedious. Board, board, board. A flat piece of wood. A group of people managing an organization. Also to get on a vehicle. Bored. Feeling uninterested or tired of something. Boarder, boarder, boarder. A person who pays to live and eat at someone's house. Border. The edge or boundary of a country, state, or area. Bold, bold, bold. Brave or strikingly noticeable. Bold. Past tense of bowl, to roll a ball, especially in cricket or bowling. Booze, booze, booze. Expressions of disapproval, shouts of boo, booze. Alcoholic drinks. Born, born, born. Delivered from the womb. Having come into life. Born. Carried or transported. Past participle of bear. Bough, bow, bough. A large branch of a tree. Bow. A curved object. To bend forward. Or a knot made with ribbon. Boy, boy, boy. A male child. Boy. A floating marker in water. Bray, bray, bray. A hillside or slope, Scottish usage. Bray. The loud cry of a donkey. Braid, braid, braid. Interwoven strands of hair, rope, or fabric. Braid. Past tense of bray, donkey's cry, or to make a loud harsh sound. Braise, 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 braise. To cook slowly in liquid. Braise. Third person singular of bray, donkey's cry. Braise. To join metals by melting a filler metal into the joint. Brake, brake, brake. A device for slowing or stopping a vehicle. Break. To separate into pieces. A pause or interruption. Bread, bread, bread. Food made from flour and water, usually baked. Bread. Past tense of breed, to produce offspring. Bruise, bruise, bruise. Third person singular of brew, to make a drink, e.g., tea or beer. Bruise. A dark mark on skin caused by injury. Bridal, bridle, bridle. Related to a bride or wedding. Bridle. The headgear used to control a horse. Broach, broach, broach. To bring up a topic for discussion. Also a tool for shaping holes. Brooch. A decorative jewelry pin. Burr, burr, burr. A seed or dry fruit that clings to clothing or animal fur. Burr. A rough edge on metal. Also a small seed capsule. But. Conjunction meaning, except, or, however. But. The end of something, e.g., a cigarette. Or to hit with the head. Buy. To purchase. By. Near. Via. Through. By. Farewell. Also used in sports for advancing without playing. Buyer. A person who purchases something. Buyer. A cowshed. Calendar. A system for organizing days, months, and years. Calendar. A machine for smoothing or finishing paper, cloth, or metal. Call. To shout, summon, or contact someone. Also a name. Caul. A thin membrane that can cover a newborn's head at birth. Canvas, canvas, canvas. Heavy-duty fabric. Also the surface for painting. Canvas. To solicit votes, orders, or opinions. Cast, cast, cast. To throw. Also refers to actors in a play or mold used to shape objects. Caste. A social class or group in a hierarchical system. Caster, caster, caster. A small wheel on furniture. Castor. A plant, castor oil plant, or oil derived from it. Caught, caught, caught. Past tense of catch, to capture. Court. A place where legal matters are decided. Also to woo someone. Caw, 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 caw. The sound made by a crow. Caw. The central or most important part of something. Corps. A military unit or specialized group of people. Cede, cede, cede. To give up or surrender territory or rights. Seed. The reproductive part of a plant. Ceiling, ceiling, ceiling. The upper interior surface of a room. Sealing. The act of closing or securing something. Cell, cell, cell. A small room, e.g., in a prison. The basic unit of life. Sell. To exchange goods or services for money. Censer, 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 censer. A container used to burn incense. Censor. To remove or suppress objectionable content. Sensor. A device that detects changes in the environment. Cent, 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 cent. A coin worth 1/100th of a dollar. Scent. A smell or fragrance. Scent. Past tense of send. Cereal, cereal, cereal. Edible grains, like wheat or corn, or breakfast food made from them. Serial. Something occurring in a series. Also a story published in parts. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Low in price. Inexpensive. Cheap. The sound made by a chick or small bird. Check, check, check. To examine, stop, or verify something. Also a mark. Check. A written order directing a bank to pay money. Choir, choir, choir. A group of singers, especially in church. Choir. A set of 24 or sometimes 25 sheets of paper. Chord, chord, chord. A combination of musical notes played together. Chord. A rope or string. Cite, 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 cite. To quote or mention as evidence. Sight. Vision. Something seen. Site. A location or place. Clack, clack, clack. A sharp sound made by striking surfaces. Clack. A group of people hired to applaud at a performance. Clue, clue, clue. A ball of thread or yarn. Also a part of a sail. Clue. A hint or piece of evidence. Climb, climb, climb. To go upward using hands and or feet. Climb. A region defined by its climate. Close, close, close. To shut something. Also near. Close. A type of exercise or test where words are removed from a text. Coal, coal, coal. A black mineral used as fuel. Kohl. A cosmetic used to darken the eyelids. Coarse, coarse, coarse. Rough or crude in texture. Course. A path, direction, or part of a meal. Also a class in school. Coin, coin, coin. A corner or wedge, archaic, rare usage. Coin. A piece of metal money. Also to invent a word or phrase. Colonel, colonel, colonel. A military rank. Kernel. The inner part of a seed or grain. The essential part of something. Complacent, complacent, complacent. Self-satisfied, often without awareness of potential danger or problems. Complacent. Willing to please others. Obliging or courteous. Complement, compliment, complement. Something that completes or goes well with something else. Compliment. A polite expression of praise or admiration. Coo, coo, coo. The soft sound made by a pigeon or dove. Coup. A sudden, often illegal, seizure of power. Also a brilliant action or success. Cops, cops, cops. Police officers, informal. Copse. A small group of trees. A thicket. Council, council, council. A group of people who make decisions or give advice, e.g., city council. Counsel. Advice. Also a lawyer or advisor. Cousin, cousin, cousin. The child of your aunt or uncle. Cousin. To cheat, deceive, or trick. Creak, creak, creak. A squeaking or groaning sound, often from a door or floorboard. Creek. A small stream or inlet of water. Cruise, cruise, cruise. Groups of people working together, especially on a ship or airplane. Cruise. To travel smoothly, often by ship. A voyage for pleasure. Hue, 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 hue. A signal to act. Also a stick used in billiards. Hue. A rank or grade in Japanese martial arts. Queue. A line or sequence of people or vehicles waiting. Curb, curb, curb. To restrain or control. Also the edge of a street. Curb. The raised edge of a sidewalk or pavement, British spelling. Current, current, current. A small dried fruit or fresh berry. Current. Flow of water, electricity, or prevailing trend. Cymbal, cymbal, cymbal. A type of musical percussion instrument, a variant spelling of cymbal. Symbol. A sign or object representing something else. Dam, dam, dam. A barrier that holds back water. Damn. To condemn. Also used as an expletive. Days, days, days. Units of time, 24 hours. Days. A stunned or confused state. Dear, dear, dear. Loved or valued. Also used in letters, Dear John. Deer. A hoofed grazing animal. Descent, descent, descent. The act of going down. Lineage or ancestry. Descent. Disagreement or refusal to conform. Desert, desert, desert. A dry, barren area. Also to abandon. Desert. Sweet course eaten at the end of a meal. Deviser, deviser, deviser. Someone who creates or plans something. Divisor. A number by which another number is divided. Dew, dew, dew. Tiny drops of water formed on surfaces in the morning. Due. Expected at a certain time. Owed or payable. Die, die, die. To cease living. Also a singular of dice. Dye. A substance used to color materials. Discreet, discreet, discreet. Careful and prudent in speech or action. Discreet. Separate and distinct. Doe, 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 doe. A female deer. Doe. An exclamation of frustration, popularized by The Simpsons. Dough. A mixture of flour and water for baking bread. Done, done, done. Completed or finished. Done. A dull grayish-brown color. Also to demand payment. Douse, douse, douse. To pour liquid over. To extinguish. Douse. To search for water, minerals, or other substances, often using a rod. Draft, draft, draft. A preliminary version of a document. Also a current of air. Draft. British spelling for draft. Can also mean a serving of drink, or a current of air. Dual, dual, dual. Having two parts or aspects. Duel. A fight between two people, often with weapons, by agreement. Earn, earn, earn. To receive money or reward in return for work or effort. Urn. A vase-like container, often used to hold ashes or liquids. Eerie, eerie, eerie. Strange or frightening. Eerie. A bird's nest built high on a cliff or tree. Ewe, 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 ewe. A female sheep. Ewe. A type of tree. Ewe. The pronoun referring to the person spoken to. Faint, faint, faint. Weak, dizzy, or barely perceptible. Feint. A deceptive move, especially in fighting or sports. Far, far, far. A syllable used in music, solfege scale, Fa. Far. At a great distance. Fair, fair, fair. Just. Unbiased, or an event with rides and stalls. Fare. Price paid for travel. Also food or how one performs. Farther, farther, farther. Greater physical distance. Father. A male parent. Fate, fate, fate. Destiny or what is bound to happen. Fate. A festival or celebration. Faun, faun, faun. A mythological half-human, half-goat creature. Fawn. A young deer. Also to show excessive affection. Fae, fae, fae. Fairy or magical being, archaic. Fae. Magical or otherworldly. Also doomed or whimsical. Phase, phase, phase. To disturb or unsettle someone. Phase. A stage or period in a process or cycle. Feat, feat, feat. An achievement or accomplishment. Feet. Plural of foot, the lower extremities of the body. Ferrule, ferrule, ferrule. A metal ring or cap used to strengthen or join something. Ferrule. A flat ruler or stick used to punish children. Historical. Few, few, few. A small number. Few. An exclamation of relief. Phi, phi, phi. An expression of disapproval or disgust. Phi. A Greek letter, phi, phi, used in mathematics and science. File, file, file. A folder for documents. Also a tool for smoothing surfaces. File. A small container, usually for liquids or medicines. Find, find, find. To discover or locate. Find. Subjected to a financial penalty. Fir, fir, fir. A type of coniferous tree. Fur. The soft hair of an animal. Fizz, fizz, fizz. The bubbling sound of a carbonated drink. Fizz. Slang for face. Flare, flare, flare. Natural talent or style. Flare. A sudden burst of light or flame. Also a signal. Flaw, flaw, flaw. A defect or imperfection. Flaw. The bottom surface of a room. Also a level in a building. Flea, flea, flea. A small parasitic insect. Flee. To run away quickly. Flex, flex, flex. To bend or show strength. Flex. Small specks or spots. Flew, 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 flew. Past tense of fly. Flu. Short for influenza, a viral illness. Flue. A duct or passage for smoke in a chimney. Flow, flow, flow. A large sheet of floating ice. Flow. The movement of a liquid, air, or another substance. Also smooth movement. Flour, flour, flour. Powder made from grinding grains, used in baking. Flower. The reproductive part of a plant. A blossom. Fold, fold, fold. Past tense of foal. When a horse gives birth. Fold. To bend something. An enclosure for animals. Or a crease. For, 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 for. Indicating purpose, recipient, or duration. For. In front. Also a warning in golf. For. For. The number 4. Forward, forward, forward. A short introduction to a book, usually written by someone other than the author. Forward. Moving ahead. Also a direction or position in sports. Fort, fort, fort. A fortified building or military stronghold. Fort. Past tense of fight. Fourth, fourth, fourth. Forward in space or time. Fourth. Number 4 in order. Foul, foul, foul. Offensive, dirty, or against the rules, in sports. Fowl. Birds. Especially those raised for food, like chickens or ducks. Franc, franc, franc. Former currency of France or Switzerland. Frank. Honest and straightforward. Freeze, freeze, freeze. To turn into ice or become very cold. Freeze. A decorative horizontal band on a wall or building. Friar, friar, friar. A member of a religious order. Fryer. A cooking pan for frying. Also a young chicken suitable for frying. Furs, furs, furs. animal coats used for warmth or fashion. Furze, a spiny evergreen shrub, also called gorse. Gait, 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 the manner of walking or running. Gate, a movable barrier or entrance. Gallipot, 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 a type of resin from pine trees, rare spelling. Gallipot, a small jar for medicines, usually ceramic or glass. Gallop, 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 the fastest gait of a horse. Gallop, a lively 19th century dance. Also a horse gait in French usage. Gamble, 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 to risk money or something valuable on chance. Gamble, to skip or leap about playfully. Gaze, 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 plural of gay, happy. Homosexual. Gaze, to look steadily or intently. Genes, 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 units of heredity in biology. Jeans, pants made of denim fabric. Gild, 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 to cover with gold or gold-colored coating. Guild, an association of people with similar interests or professions. Gilt, 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 covered with gold or gold leaf. Guilt, feeling of having done something wrong. Gyro, 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 a system for transferring money electronically, common in Europe. Gyro, a Greek sandwich, also short for gyroscope in physics. Gnaw, 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 to bite or chew persistently. Gnaw, a conjunction meaning, and not. Nice, 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 a type of metamorphic rock with banded layers. Nice, pleasant, agreeable, or kind. Gorilla, 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 a large ape. Gorilla, a member of a small independent group fighting irregularly against larger forces. Grate, 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 to shred food. Also a metal frame for a fireplace. Great, very large or excellent. Greave, grieve, grieve, a piece of armor that protects the leg. Grieve, to feel deep sorrow. Graze, 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 plural of gray, the color. Graze, to feed on grass. Also to scrape the skin lightly. Grizzly, 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 causing horror or disgust. Grizzly, a type of large bear. Also can mean grayish in color. Groan, 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 to make a low sound expressing pain or displeasure. Grown, past participle of grow. Mature. Guessed, 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 past tense of guess, to estimate or infer. Guest, a visitor or someone invited. Hail, 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 small frozen raindrops, also to greet or acclaim. Hail, healthy and robust. Hair, 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 the fine strands growing on skin or scalp. Hare, a fast-running mammal similar to a rabbit. Hall, 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 a large room or building entrance. Haul, to pull or transport something. Also the quantity taken. Hangar, 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 a large building for housing aircraft. Hanger, a device for hanging clothes. Heart, 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 a male deer, especially a red deer. Heart, the organ that pumps blood. also used symbolically for love. Haw, 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 haw. The berry of a hawthorn tree. Also to hesitate. Haw. Frost or grayish white. Haw. A person engaged in sexual activity for money, offensive term. Hay, hay, hay. Dried grass used as animal fodder. Hay. An exclamation to get attention or greet someone. Heal, 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 heal. To restore health. Heel. The back part of the foot. Heel. Contraction of he will. Hear, hear, hear. To perceive sound. Here. In this place. Heard, heard, heard. Past tense of hear. Herd. A group of animals, especially cattle or sheep. Heed, heed, heed. Contraction of he had, or he would. Heed. To pay attention to advice or warning. Heroin, heroin, heroin. A narcotic drug derived from opium. Heroine. A female hero. Hew, hew, hew. To chop or cut, especially wood. Hue. Color or shade. High, high, high. Greeting, hello. High. Tall or elevated. Also refers to intense euphoria in slang. Higher, higher, higher. Comparative of high. More elevated. Higher. To employ someone. Also to rent. Him, him, him. Object pronoun referring to a male person. Hymn. A religious song of praise. Ho, ho, ho. An exclamation to attract attention or call out. Hoe. A garden tool for digging or weeding. Hoard, hoard, hoard. A stockpile of items kept hidden or stored. Horde. A large group, often moving together. A swarm. Horse, horse, horse. Having a rough or harsh voice. Horse. A large domesticated animal used for riding or work. Holy, 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 holy. Full of holes. Holy. Sacred or divine. Holy. Completely. Entirely. Hour. Hour. A period of 60 minutes. Hour. Belonging to us. Idle. 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 Inactive, not in use, or lazy. Idol. An object or person worshipped or admired. In. Inside or within. In. A small hotel or lodging place. Indict. To formally accuse someone of a crime. Indict. To write or compose, especially literary work. It's. Contraction of it is, or it has. Its. Possessive form of it. Jewel. A precious stone or ornament. Joule. A unit of energy in physics. Key. A device to open a lock. Also crucial or essential. Quay. A platform or dock for loading, unloading ships. Knave. A deceitful or dishonest man. Also a historical term for a male servant. Nave. The central part of a church. Need. To work dough or clay with hands. Need. To require something. New. Past tense of know. New. recently made, discovered, or introduced. Knight, knight, knight. A mounted warrior in medieval times. Also a title of honor. Night. The period of darkness between sunset and sunrise. Knit, knit, knit. To make fabric by interlocking loops of yarn. Knit. The egg of a louse or similar insect. Knob, knob, knob. A rounded handle or control. Knob. A wealthy or influential person. Also a piece of bread or a rounded object, informal. Knock, knock, knock. To strike a surface to gain attention. Knock. The notch at the end of an arrow that fits onto a bowstring. Knot, knot, knot. A tied loop or fastening. Also a measure of speed in nautical terms. Not. A word used to negate a statement. No, no, no. To have knowledge or awareness of something. No. A negative response. Nose, nose, nose. Third person singular of no. Nose. The organ used for smelling. Lager, lager, lager. A defensive encampment, originally of wagons. Lager. A type of beer. Lac, lac, lac. A resinous secretion of certain insects. Also 100,000 in Indian numbering. Lack. The absence of something. Laid, laid, laid. To load or fill a container. Laid. Past tense of lay, to put something down. Lane, lane, lane. Past participle of lie, to recline. Lane. A narrow road or pathway. Lamb, lamb, lamb. To run away or escape, often from the law. Lamb. A young sheep. Lapse, lapse, lapse. Circuits or rounds, e.g., in a race. Also overlapping parts. Lapse. A temporary failure or decline. Also the passing of time. Larva, larva, larva. The immature form of an insect or animal before metamorphosis. Lava. Molten rock expelled from a volcano. Laze, laze, laze. To emit light in a coherent beam, as in a laser. Laze. To spend time idly or relax. Law, law, law. Rules established by authority. Law. Traditional knowledge, stories, or customs. Lay, lay, lay. To put or place something down. Lay. A field or meadow. Also lines of mystical energy in folklore. Lee, lee, lee. A meadow or grassland. Lee. Shelter from the wind or weather. Leach, leach, leach. To drain or remove substances from soil or material. Leech. A blood-sucking worm. Also used figuratively for a parasite. Lead, lead, lead. A heavy metal. Also to guide or direct. Lead. Past tense of lead, to guide. Leak, leak, leak. To allow liquid or gas to escape. Leek. A type of vegetable, related to onion and garlic. Lean, lean, lean. To incline or rest against. Also thin or fit. Lien. A legal claim on property as security for a debt. Lessen, lessen, lessen. To make smaller or reduce. Lesson. Something learned. a period of teaching. Levee, 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 a wall or embankment to prevent flooding. Also a formal reception. Levy, to impose or collect a tax, fee, or fine. Liar, 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 a person who tells lies. Lyre, an ancient stringed musical instrument. License, 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 British spelling, permission to do something. License, American spelling, permission or the act of granting permission. Liquor, 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 one who licks. Informal, slang usage. Liquor, alcoholic drink. Lie, 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 to recline or to tell a falsehood. Lye, a strong alkaline chemical used in cleaning or soap making. Liu, 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 in place of, as a substitute. Loo, British term for a toilet. Links, 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 interconnected items. Also a golf course. Lynx, a type of wild cat. Low, 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 an expression meaning, look, or see. Low, not high, small in height, position, or intensity. Load, 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 a quantity carried at one time. To put a burden or weight. Load, a rich source of mineral ore. Loan, 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 something lent, often money. Lone, solitary, single, alone. Locks, 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 sections of hair. Also mechanisms for securing doors. Locks, brinned or smoked salmon. Loop, 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 a curved or circular shape. Also a sequence that repeats. Loop, a small magnifying glass used by jewelers or watchmakers. Loot, 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 stolen money or goods. Lute, a stringed musical instrument, similar to a guitar. Made, 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 past tense of make. Created or constructed. Maid, a female servant or housekeeper. Mail, 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 letters or parcels sent through the postal system. Male, referring to the sex that produces sperm. Main, 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 most important. Primary, mane, long hair on the neck of a horse or lion. Maize, 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 corn, a cereal plant. Maze, a complex network of paths or passages. Mall, 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 a shopping center or pedestrian street. Maul, to injure by beating or tearing. Also a heavy hammer. Manna, 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 food miraculously supplied, biblical. Also something beneficial received unexpectedly. Manner, a way of doing something. Behavior or style. Mantle, 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 a shelf above a fireplace. Mantle, a cloak, also a layer of the earth. Mare, 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 a female horse. Mayor, the elected head of a city or town. Mark, 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 a symbol, line, or indication. Also to aim at or notice. Mark, a brand or make, especially of a car. Marshal, 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 a high-ranking officer. Also to arrange or organize. Marshal, related to war or the military. Marten, marten, marten. A small, carnivorous mammal with soft fur. Marten. A type of bird related to swallows. Mask, mask, mask. A covering for the face. Mask. A theatrical performance or a ceremonial mask. Maw, maw, maw. The mouth or throat of a voracious animal. Maw. A greater quantity or amount. Me, me, me. The object pronoun referring to oneself. Me. The third note of the musical scale, solfege. Mean, mean, mean. To signify. Also average or unkind. Mean. A person's appearance, manner, or expression. Meat, 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 meat. Flesh of animals used as food. Meet. To come together or encounter. Meet. To distribute or allot, often used with justice or punishment. Medal, medal, medal. An award, usually for achievement. Meddle. To interfere in someone else's affairs. Metal, metal, metal. A solid element, like iron or gold. Metal. Courage, spirit, or resilience. Meter, meter, meter. A device for measuring. In the US also a unit of measurement. Meter. The British spelling for the unit of measurement. Also rhythm in poetry. Might, might, might. Power or possibility. Might. A very small creature. Also a small amount. Minor, 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 minor. A person who works in a mine. Minor. Underage. Also less important. Minor. A type of bird. Mind, mind, mind. To pay attention to. Also the brain or intellect. Mind. Past tense of mine. To extract minerals from the earth. Mist, mist, mist. Failed to catch, see, or reach. Mist. Fine spray or fog. Light rain. Moat, moat, moat. A deep, wide ditch surrounding a castle, often filled with water. Mote. A tiny particle or speck. Mode, mode, mode. A manner, method, or style. Also a statistical term, most frequent value. Mode. Past tense of mow, meaning to cut down grass or crops. Moor, moor, moor. Open, uncultivated land. Also to anchor a boat. Moor. A greater quantity, degree, or extent. Moose, moose, moose. A large deer with broad antlers. Moose. A light, airy food preparation, usually sweet or savory. Morning, morning, morning. The early part of the day, after sunrise. Mourning. The expression of grief, especially for someone who has died. Muscle, muscle, muscle. Tissue in the body that produces movement. Mussel. A type of edible shellfish. Naval, naval, naval. Related to a navy. Naval. The belly button. Nay, nay, nay. No. Used formally or in voting. Neigh. The sound a horse makes. Nigh, nigh, nigh. Near in time or space. Almost. Nigh. A proper noun, often a surname, e.g., Bill Nye. none, 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 not any, none. A woman devoted to religious life in a convent. Odd, odd, odd. A hypothetical natural force once thought to influence humans. Odd, strange or unusual. Not divisible by two. Ode, ode, ode. A type of lyrical poem. Ode. Past tense of owe, meaning to be under obligation to pay or repay. Oh, oh, oh. An exclamation of surprise or realization. Oh. To be under obligation to pay or repay something. One, one, one. The number one. A single entity. One. Past tense of win. Packed, packed, packed. Filled tightly. Past tense of pack. Packed. A formal agreement or treaty. Packs, packs, packs. Plural of pack, meaning bundles or groups. Pax. Peace, Latin, or the congregation in a church setting. Pale, pale, pale. A bucket. Pale. Light in color or lacking intensity. Also a boundary, archaic usage. Pain, pain, pain. Physical or emotional suffering. Pane. A single sheet of glass in a window. Pair, 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 pair. Two similar or matched items. Pair. To trim or reduce. Pear. A sweet fruit with a rounded base tapering to a stalk. Palate, 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 palate. Roof of the mouth. Also taste or appreciation of flavor. Palette. A board for mixing paint colors. Also the range of colors used. Pallet. A flat platform for transporting goods. Also a straw bed. Pascal, Pascal, Pascal. A unit of pressure. Also a proper name. Pascal. Related to Easter, from Latin, pascha. Paten, pattern, pattern. Paten. A small plate used in religious ceremonies for bread. Pattern. A wooden-soled overshoe. Pattern. A repeated decorative design or model to follow. Pause, 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 pause. A temporary stop or break. Pause. Feet of an animal. Pause. Tiny openings in skin or a surface. Pause. Third person singular of pour, to flow or discharge a liquid. Pawn, pawn, pawn. To deposit something as security for a loan. Also the chess piece. Pawn. Short for pornography. Pea, pea, pea. A small, round green vegetable. Pea. Informal term for urine. Also the act of urinating. Peace, peace, peace. Freedom from conflict or calmness. Piece. A portion or fragment of something. Peak, 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 pique. Peak. The highest point, e.g., a mountain peak. Peak. A quick or secret look. Peak. Short for Pekingese, a dog breed. Piqué. To provoke or stimulate interest. Also a feeling of irritation. Peel, peel, peel. A loud ringing of bells. Peel. To remove the outer layer of a fruit or vegetable. Pearl, pearl, pearl. A precious round gem from an oyster. Pearl. A type of knitting stitch. Also the sound of gently flowing water. Pedal, pedal, pedal. A foot-operated lever, e.g., on a bicycle. Pedal. To sell goods, often by going from place to place. Peer, peer, peer. To look closely. Also a person of equal status. Pier. A structure extending into water, used as a landing place or dock. Pi, pi, pi. The mathematical constant pi approximately equals 3.14159. Pie. A baked dish with a pastry crust and filling. Pica, pica, pica. A typographic unit of measure. Pica. A small, mountain-dwelling mammal related to rabbits. Place, place, place. A location or position. Plice. A type of flatfish eaten as food. Plain, plain, plain. Simple, unadorned. Also a flat area of land. Plain. A flat surface. Also an aircraft. Please, please, please. Requests or appeals in a legal context. Please. To make someone happy. Also a polite request. Plum, plum, plum. A sweet fruit. Also something desirable. Plum. To measure depth or verticality. Also vertically straight. Pole, pole, pole. A long cylindrical object. Also north or south pole. Poll. A survey of opinions. Also voting. Poof, poof, poof. Informal exclamation for disappearing. Also a derogatory slang term. Poof. A low, cushioned seat or footstool. Practice, practice, practice. U.S. spelling, noun. Repeated action or work. Also medical or professional work. Practice. British spelling, verb. To perform or carry out repeatedly. Praise, 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 praise. To express approval or admiration. Praise. Third person singular of pray. To communicate with a deity. Praise. Hunts or attacks another animal for food. Principal, principal, principal. Most important. Head of a school. Main sum of money. Principle. A fundamental truth, rule, or belief. Profit, profit, profit. Financial gain. Prophet. A person who delivers divine messages. Quarts, quarts, quarts. Units of liquid measurement, 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. Quartz. A mineral composed of silicon dioxide. Queen, queen, queen. An archaic term for a disreputable woman. Queen. A female monarch or ruler. Rain, 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 rain. Precipitation in the form of water droplets. Reign. The period of rule of a monarch. Rein. Straps used to control a horse. Raise, 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 raise. To lift or increase. Also to collect funds. Rays. Beams of light or radiation. Also types of fish, stingrays. Raise. To completely destroy or demolish. Rap, rap, rap. A sharp knock or a style of music. Wrap. To cover something, often with paper or fabric. Raw, raw, raw. Uncooked or in a natural state. Raw. A loud, deep sound, often by an animal or crowd. Red, read, read. To look at and comprehend written text. Reed. A tall, slender grass-like plant, often found near water. Read, read, read. Past tense, comprehended written text. Read. A color. Real, real, real. True, actual, or genuine. Reel. A spool for winding film, thread, or fishing line. Also to stagger or spin. Reek, reek, reek. To emit a strong, unpleasant smell. Reek. To cause or inflict, usually harm or damage. Rest, rest, rest. To relax or cease activity. Also a pause. Rest. To forcibly twist or pull away. Retch, retch, retch. To vomit or make a gagging motion. Wretch. An unfortunate or despicable person. Review, review, review. To examine or assess something. Also an evaluation or critique. Review. A theatrical entertainment with music, sketches, and dances. Room, room, room. Mucus discharge from the eyes or nose. Room. A space enclosed by walls, often for a specific purpose. Right, 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 right. Correct, proper, or a legal entitlement. Right. A ceremonial act or ritual. Right. A maker or builder, e.g., playwright, shipwright. Right. To form letters or words on a surface. Ring, ring, ring. A circular band or sound. Also to encircle. Ring. To twist or squeeze forcibly. Road, road, road. A pathway or street for travel. Road. Past tense of ride. Row, row, row. Fish eggs. Row. A line of things. Also to propel a boat with oars. Also a quarrel. Roll, roll, roll. A character or function someone fulfills. Roll. To turn over. Also a list or a small bread. Also to move in a rotating manner. Roo, 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 roo. Short for kangaroo. Roux. A mixture of fat and flour used in cooking to thicken sauces. Roux. To regret. Rude, rude, rude. A historical unit of land or a cross. Rude. Impolite or offensive. Root, root, root. The underground part of a plant. Origin of something. Route. A path or course taken from one place to another. Rose, rose, rose. A type of flower. Past tense of rise. Rose. Lines of things or people. Also an argument or quarrel. Rota, rota, rota. A schedule or roster of duties. Rotor. A rotating part of a machine, especially in engines or helicopters. Rote, wrote, wrote. Memorization by repetition. Wrote. Past tense of write. Rough, rough, rough. Uneven or coarse in texture. Difficult or harsh. Rough. A frill or collar. Also a breed of dog or bird plumage. Rouse, rose, rouse. To awaken or stir up. Rose. Lines of objects or people. Also quarrels. Rung, rung, rung. A horizontal support on a ladder. Rung. Past tense of ring, twisted forcibly. Rye, rye, rye. A cereal grain or whiskey made from it. Rye. Twisted, dryly humorous, or ironic. Savor, savor, savor. Someone or something that saves or preserves. Savor. To enjoy the taste or smell of something. Spade, spade, spade. A tool for digging or a suit in a deck of cards. Spade. Past tense of spay, meaning to sterilize a female animal. Sale, sale, sale. The act of selling or discounted goods. Sail. A piece of fabric for catching wind on a boat. Also to travel by boat. Sane, sen, sane. Mentally healthy or rational. Sen. A type of fishing net. Satire, satir, satire. A literary work that mocks or criticizes human behavior. Satyr. A mythological half-human, half-goat creature. Also a man given to lechery. Sauce, sauce, sauce. A liquid or semi-liquid condiment for food. Source. The origin or starting point of something. Saw, 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 saw. A tool for cutting. Past tense of see. Soar. To fly or rise high. Sore. Painful or tender. Also a wound. Scene, scene, scene. A part of a play, movie, or location of an event. Scene. Past participle of see. Scull, skull, skull. A type of oar or to row a boat with two oars. Skull. The bony structure of the head. Sea, sea, sea. A large body of salt water. See. To perceive with the eyes. Seam, seam, seam. The line where two pieces of fabric are joined. Seem. To appear to be something. Sear, 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 sear. To burn or scorch the surface. Seer. A person who predicts the future. Sear. Dry or withered. Seize, 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 seize. Plural of see. Seize. Third person singular of see. Seize. To take hold of suddenly or forcibly. Sew, 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 sew. To stitch fabric. Sew. Therefore or very. Sow. To plant seeds. Also a female pig. Shake, shake, shake. To move back and forth rapidly. Also a milkshake. Shake. An Arab leader or elder. Shear, shear, shear. To cut wool or hair from an animal. Also to clip. Shear. Pure, steep, or very thin, translucent. Shoe, shoe, shoe. Footwear. Shoe. To drive away, usually animals. Sick, sick, sick. A notation used in writing to indicate a quoted error is intentional. Sick. Ill or unwell. Side, side, side. A surface or position. Also a team in sports. Side. Past tense of sigh. A deep breath expressing emotion. Sign, sign, sign. A symbol or indication. Also to write one's name. Sine. A trigonometric function in mathematics. Sink, sink, sink. To go down in water. Also a basin for washing. Sync. Short for synchronize, meaning to operate simultaneously. Slay. 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 To kill or destroy. Slay. A vehicle on runners for traveling over snow. Slow. 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 A small dark fruit from the blackthorn bush. Slow. Not fast. Reduced speed. Sole. 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 The bottom part of a foot or shoe. Also the only one. Soul. The spiritual or immaterial part of a person. Some. 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 An unspecified amount or number. Sum. The total of two or more numbers. Son. 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 A male child. Sun. The star at the center of our solar system. Sort. 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 A type or category. Also to arrange. Sort. Past tense of seek, meaning to look for. Spa. 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 A place for relaxation or therapeutic bathing. Spa. A strong pole or a practice fight in boxing, martial arts. Stayed. 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 Serious, reserved, or sedate in character. Stayed. Past tense of stay, meaning remained in place. Stair. 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 A single step in a staircase. Stare. To look fixedly or intently. Stake. 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 A post driven into the ground. Also a financial or personal interest. Steak. A slice of meat, usually beef, for cooking. Stalk. 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 The stem of a plant. Also to follow someone stealthily. Stork. A large bird often associated with delivering babies in folklore. Stationary. 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 Not moving. Stationary. Writing materials such as paper, pens, and envelopes. Steal. 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 To take something unlawfully. Steel. A strong metal made from iron and carbon. Stile. 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 Steps or a passage for crossing a fence or wall. Style. A way of doing something or a distinctive appearance. Story. 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 A level of a building. Story. A narrative. Also a level of a building in US spelling. Straight. 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 Not curved or bent. Direct. Straight. A narrow passage of water between two land masses. Also used metaphorically for difficulty. Sweet. 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 Sugary. Pleasing to taste or smell. Suite. A set of rooms or a collection of musical pieces. Swat. 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 To hit or strike, usually an insect. Swat. To study intensely. Tax. 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 Small nails or pins. Also a course of action. Tax. A compulsory payment to the government. Tale. 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 A story, often imaginative. Tail. The rear part of an animal. Talk. 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 To speak. Talk. Rotational force applied to an object. Tear. 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 The weight of packaging or container to subtract from total weight. Tear. To rip. Also a drop of liquid from the eye. Taught. Taught. taught, taught. Past tense of teach, taught. Stretched tightly, taught. A civil wrong or injury in law. T, 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 T. The note, T, in some musical scales, do, re, mi. Tea. A beverage made from leaves. Also a meal in some cultures. Tee. A small stand for a golf ball. Also the letter, T. Team, team, team. A group of people working together. Team. To be full of or overflowing. Tear, tear, tear. To rip. Also a drop from the eye. Tier. A level or row in a series or hierarchy. Tease, tease, tease. Plural of tea, beverage. Tease. To make fun of or provoke playfully. Terse, terse, terse. The third canonical hour in Christian liturgy, around 9 a.m. Terse. Concise or brief, often in a way that seems abrupt or rude. Turn, turn, turn. A type of seabird. Turn. To move or cause to move around an axis or point. A change in direction or situation. There, there, there. Refers to a place or location. There. Possessive form of they, belonging to them. Their. Contraction of they are. Through, through, through. Past tense of throw, to propel something with force. Through. Moving in one side and out of the other. By means of throws, throws, throws. Intense pain, struggle, or suffering. Throws. Propels something with force. Also a covering like a blanket. Throne, throne, throne. A ceremonial chair for a monarch. Thrown. Past participle of throw, to have propelled something. Time, time, time. A small aromatic herb used in cooking. Time. The indefinite continued progress of existence. A period or moment. Tick, tick, tick. A sudden, repetitive involuntary movement or sound. Tick. The sound of a clock. A mark. Or a small blood-sucking arachnid. Tide, tide, tide. The rise and fall of sea levels. A trend. Tied. Fastened, joined, or equal in a competition. Tire, tire, tire. To become fatigued. Or the outer rubber covering of a wheel, US. Tire. The outer rubber covering of a wheel, UK. To, 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 to. Preposition indicating direction, place, or position. To. Also. Excessively. To. The number two. Toad, 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 toad. A type of amphibian. Toad. Having a specific type of toes or movement, e.g., duck-toed. Towed. Pulled along by a rope, chain, or vehicle. Told, told, told. Past tense of tell, to communicate information. Told. Rang a bell slowly, or charged a fee, like a toll. Toll, toll, toll. Painted or decorated metal. Toll. A fee paid for using a road or bridge. Also, death or suffering, caused by something. Ton, ton, ton. A unit of weight. A large amount. Ton. a large cask or barrel for liquids. Tor, 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 a high rock or pile of rocks on a hill. Tor, past tense of tear, to rip. Tough, 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 strong, resilient, or difficult. Tough, a type of rock made from volcanic ash. Troop, 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 a group of soldiers or scouts. Troop, a group of performers, especially actors or dancers. Tuba, 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 a large brass musical instrument. Tuber, a thickened underground stem or root of a plant, like a potato. Vain, 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 having excessive pride in oneself. Futile, vain, a flat surface showing wind direction, weather vane. Vein, blood vessel, or a streak of mineral in rock. Veil, 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 a valley. Veil, a piece of cloth used to cover the face or head. Vial, 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 a small container, usually for liquid medicines. Vile, extremely unpleasant, wicked, or offensive. Wail, 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 a prolonged, high-pitched cry of grief or pain. Wail, a ridge on fabric, like corduroy, or a mark left on the skin by a blow. Whale, a large marine mammal. Wane, 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 a wagon or cart. Wane, to decrease in size, strength, or intensity, often used for the moon. Waist, 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 the part of the body between the ribs and hips. Waste, to use carelessly, or material that is discarded. Wait, 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 to stay in place until something happens. Weight, the measure of heaviness, importance or burden. Wave, 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 to give up a right or claim. Wave, a moving swell of water. To move the hand back and forth. Wall, 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 a vertical structure that encloses or divides. Wall, to cry or wail loudly, like a cat. War, 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 armed conflict between groups or countries. War, past tense of wear, to have clothing or an accessory on. Wear, 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 goods or merchandise. Wear, to have on one's body, clothes, accessories, or gradual deterioration. Wear, refers to a place or location. Warn, 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 to alert someone about danger. Worn, past participle of wear, damaged or used due to age or use. Wart, 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 a small, rough growth on the skin caused by a virus. Wort, a plant used in brewing or medicine. Also, herb, in older usage. Watt, 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 unit of electrical power. Watt, a question word used to ask for information. Wax, 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 a sticky substance from bees or used for polishing. Also to grow or increase. Wax, hits or strikes with force. Way, 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 a path, method, or manner. Weigh, to measure weight, to consider carefully. Whey, the liquid remaining after milk has been curdled and strained. We, 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 pronoun for a group including the speaker. wee. Small, little, wee. An exclamation of excitement or joy. Weak, weak, weak. Lacking strength. Week. A period of 7 days. Weed, weed, weed. Contraction of we had, or we would. Weed. An unwanted plant. Also can mean to remove such plants. Wheel, 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 wheel. A red, swollen mark on the skin caused by a blow. Also prosperity or well-being. Wheel. Contraction of we will. Wheel. A circular object that rotates, used for movement. Wean, wean, wean. To gradually stop feeding a baby or young animal milk. Wean. To suppose or believe, archaic or literary. Weather, weather, weather. The state of the atmosphere, rain, sun, wind, etc. Weather. A conjunction used to express doubt or choice between alternatives. Weaver, weaver, weaver. Someone who makes cloth by weaving. Weaver. A type of small, venomous fish. Weir, weir. A low dam built across a river. We're. Contraction of we are. Were, were. Past tense of be, plural or singular, you. Were. A continuous, low, vibrating sound. Wet, wet, wet. Covered or saturated with liquid. Wet. To sharpen, usually a blade, or stimulate, like appetite. Wheeled, wheeled, wheeled. Obsolete, rare, to turn or move like a wheel. Wheeled. Past tense of wheel, to have moved using a wheel. Which, which. Used to ask or specify one or more from a set. Witch. A person, often female, believed to have magical powers. Whig, wig. A member of a political party in Britain or the US, historical. Wig. An artificial covering of hair for the head. While. A period of time. Also, although, in some contexts. While. A trick, cunning, or deceitful strategy. Whine. To make a high-pitched, complaining sound. Wine. An alcoholic drink made from fermented grapes. Whirl. To spin or rotate rapidly. Whirl. A circular arrangement of parts, like leaves or petals, around a stem. A pattern on a fingerprint. Whirled. Past tense of whirl, spun around. World. The earth and all its inhabitants. The universe of human activity. Wit. A very small amount. A bit. Wit. Mental sharpness, humor, or cleverness. White. The color of milk or snow. Symbolically pure. White. A person or living being. Often used in older or poetic language. Whose. Contraction of who is, or who has. Whose. Possessive form of who, belonging to whom. Woe. Great sorrow or distress. Woe. A command to stop or slow down, often to horses. An exclamation of surprise. Wood. Material from trees. A small forest. Would expresses a conditional mood or future in the past. Your. To twist or oscillate around a vertical axis, often of a ship or aircraft. Your. Time long past. Days of yore. Your. Possessive form of you. Your. Contraction of you are. Yoke. A wooden crosspiece fastened over the necks of animals to pull a plow or cart. Also means burden or control. Yolk. The yellow part of an egg. Yule. Contraction of you will. Yule. The Christmas season, archaic, poetic usage.